Hi guys, I know you guys haven't seen a lot of me in the vital fluids and gases block, but good news for your Zadie Johnson case. I've got a whole lot of gross bugs for you to learn about. So because I've got almost 20 pages of content, I thought I would kind of make my own how to survive video to just kind of take you through it to make sure that we're all on the same page, sometimes literally. So here are my objectives. This is all very similar. You'll notice that there are a couple videos along the way. We're going to start with bacterial infections, and we're going to talk about Pseudomonas aeruginosa first. It's about an 18-minute video. I'll let that do the talking for you. It does largely go over everything that's written in the notes. So if you learn better by reading and you stick to the notes, that's fine. If you learn better by listening and you stick to the video, that's fine too. The slides are available to you right here if you just open this hyperlink here. Okay, so you can learn either way, whichever works better for you. So go through that. You'll note there are some toxins. I love those. And the different clinical presentations. I tried to keep the format similar from organism to organism so that you can follow along. And then we go into two bacterial infections that I don't go into very much detail on, Burkholderia and Stenotrophomonas. This is why I don't do a video on this one. S. multifilia, that's better. So I don't go into much detail on that one. They are organisms that are kind of considered in the same league as Pseudomonas, but we don't go into very much detail there. We do talk a little bit about why these organisms are important though, particularly in some patients with like cystic fibrosis or other chronic pulmonary conditions. They tend to be on antibiotics for a really long period of time, for numerous times throughout their lives, and that can affect the type of organisms that will cause pneumonia in them versus, say, your average healthy medical student. So you can go through that information here. Then the fun begins. So we've talked about viruses, we've talked about bacteria, we've even talked about parasites. Fungi have largely been just kind of like this big black box of mold in like a bread box. Think of it that way. Because, well, bread is basically comes out of yeast, which are fungi. So here's an introduction. I have this little disclaimer up here. So remember back in Jamie Lopez, I gave you kind of like this bacteriology introduction. And I said you can kind of just gloss over these 10 pages and that it's there for you to look up material. That's kind of what the next 5 pages are. There are a couple points that are really important that I'll point out now. And then the actual organisms begin with histoplasma on page 10. That's where you're really going to want to clue in again, okay? So you can kind of gloss over this first page. It's really just kind of vocabulary here, structure of fungi, is it septate or aseptate in its hyphae construction. You can look up what that means here. Here's something you need to know. This paragraph right here, thermal dimorphism. You need to know what that means, and you need to know each of these names, okay? All right, then if we go down into the classification gets really confusing. Mycologists are even worse at naming things than microbiologists. Sorry, but I'm not a mycologist, so that one's not my fault. Then we go into identification, which you can kind of read through. But with identification, I would say that this table is a really helpful table. And I think I was talking to Dr. Poole yesterday, and I think he made a similar table. So when you have two disciplines that are basically saying, here's how you're going to recognize these organisms, and you're going to recognize them based on their yeast forms. So like, for instance, histoplasma has small, round, extra, and intracellular forms often within macrophages. These are buzzwords I'd kind of just commit to memory, okay? So this table could be pretty helpful. What page is this table on? This? It's not telling me right now, but you guys can look through and find it there. Okay, then keep going down. You're going to wind up getting to your organisms. And then there's a whole bunch of fungal organisms. There are videos with each fungal organism. So here's histoplasma. It's got about a 14-minute video, and the slides are right under it. With histoplasma, once again, it's pretty much just going through what's in the notes. And that's largely true for the remainder of the videos. So whichever way you learn best, you can go ahead and do, be it listening or reading. I made one for histoplasma and blastomyces. And then I made kind of a trifecta video for 3 of the fungal infections, which are the coccidioides, paracoccidioides, and Tularomyces, which actually used to be penicillium. Again, terrible at naming. So you'll find that video here. It's uploading right now, so the link doesn't work here, but it'll be there by the time you guys are watching this. And again, that just goes through the next 3 organisms. And then I've got a video for Pneumocystis jirovecii and a video for Aspergillus. So if you follow along with that, then you should be fine. The mastery questions are there to guide you through, and feel free to contact me if you have any questions. Okay,